This is the Wizard News. In 2022, Eliza Rohr requested a Parkway tree through the Our Roots Chicago program, launched in 2021 under former Mayor Lori Lightfoot. After a couple of bureaucratic snafus, including the city closing out Rohr's request even though no tree had been delivered, she was thrilled when a crew showed up outside her Belmont Cragin home in December 2023 to plant a tree. Rohr found that the Aristocrat pear they had planted was an invasive tree. She immediately dialed her alderperson's office, which had helped her get the tree in the first place. Rohr wanted the tree gone. The Aristocrat is a cultivar of the callery pear, often called the Bradford pear. Once a popular ornamental, callery pear, which is native to China, is spreading out of control across the U.S., threatening natural areas and dominating native species. Rohr found that callery pear was listed as not recommended by the Morton Arboretum, was no longer planted in cities such as New York, and had been banned in several states, including Ohio. Just because a plant is known to be invasive does not mean it has technically been labeled invasive. Rohr's Aristocrat was selected by city foresters from an area nursery as one of the 23,000 Parkway trees planted by Our Roots Chicago in 2023. Aristocrat pear is still grown, sold, bought, and planted legally in Illinois. Illinois has not updated its Exotic Weed Act, which regulates plants of concern to natural systems, since 2015. The noxious weed law regulates plants of concern to agriculture. Callery pear is not included among the roughly 24 plants or family of plants covered by the Exotic Weed Act, under which it is illegal to buy, sell, or distribute any of the species listed. After a 5-year hiatus, Illinois' Invasive Species Council reformed in 2020. In late 2022, the Council's Terrestrial Plant Committee announced 10 plants under review for consideration as invasive. Callery pear made this roster. The committee spent a year conducting intense assessments of the plants under review, taking into consideration everything from a plant's volume of seed production to its dispersal, to whether it is regulated elsewhere, to how difficult it is to manage. Even if the council finds a plant invasive, any change to the Exotic Weed Act has to be made via an amendment introduced and approved by the Illinois General Assembly. The Midwest Invasive Plant Network, made up of 9 states including Illinois, plus Canada's Ontario province, is focusing its efforts on standardizing regulations across the region. Rohr was disappointed with the city's response to her complaint about being stuck with an invasive. Essentially, it's not banned as it can still be planted. The city was more concerned with quantity than quality when it came to Our Roots Chicago. Her dissatisfaction eventually led her to Chris Evans, co-chair of the Terrestrial Plant Committee and University of Illinois Extension Forestry and Research Specialist. Evans said, "We're seeing this broader recognition with the public. I do think we're seeing a big increase in awareness." On Rohr's behalf, Evans reached out to his contacts at Streets and Sanitation's Bureau of Forestry. The upshot of that communication is, going forward, Chicago will no longer plant callery pear. Nor will the city issue permits for the planting of pear trees, and as existing pear trees age and die, the city will not be replacing them. Though the city is not required to remove pear trees, the Bureau of Forestry is prepared to replace Rohr's tree in the next planting cycle. Evans said the public can play a role in getting species out of circulation. If you're worried about invasive plants that are still for sale, absolutely tell a nursery, "Hey, I don't like that you're selling this plant. I really want a native or at least a non-invasive alternative," Evans said. "I think the more they hear that, they are going to act." Source: WTTW, March 7th, 2024.
Isn't it rich? Aren't we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair, sending the clouds. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, one who can't move.